Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's enjoying our New Year's Day. Keith here from Commander Hoop Celtic. This is your first time viewing the channel. If you can like and subscribe below, we're pushing for the 17,000. So the transfer window is now officially open. The January transfer window. Players will come and go. It's just the joys of business. At the end of the day, there has been some really good players at Celtic, but some players to be signed just hasn't cut it, regardless who the manager was, the tactics, injuries, not the standard, and players like VATA, he could go. A couple of clubs are looking at monitoring VATA's progress. He's done well for the Celtic B team and the Republic of Ireland under 21s. I've said it so many times on the channel. VATA and Mitchell Frame need to be playing for the senior team. I think it's an absolute shame if we lose VATA. I'm going to talk about players that were linked to it as well, because people are asking me, where do we need to strengthen? I say this on a daily basis when I do a podcast. A goalkeeper, a left back, potentially a right back, a defensive midfielder, two strikers, and I think we should be grand. I think we should be okay. But that's a lot of positions, and there's a lot of cash to be flowed in there as well. We don't want Celtic going down the cheap option and keep recruiting from these Asian leagues, and we're not guaranteed that a player can come in and make the impact like a Kyogo or a Mameda or even a Tate. You know, we have older that's scores a couple of goals there and then. Yang still hasn't cut it. Kwan, where is he to be seen? So we're going to talk about players that are linked with the club. But first of all, David Turnbull. David Turnbull, this is a strange one. From today, he can sign a pre-contract for any club he wants. His contract is up at the end of the season. David Turnbull's stats for Celtic is 133 games, 31 goals, and 23 assists. This is from Transfer Market, by the way, folks, this source. Would I like to keep David Turnbull? 24 years of age, hitting 25 in July. Some fans are like, yeah, keep him. He's just a sub. He can come off the bench. He's an impact player, scores penalties, cracking free kick taker, you know, great dead ball player. But at the end of the day, we have Rio in there. We have Matt O'Reilly. We do have Bernardo on loan. Bernardo will go at the end of the season. We have Odin Holm there as well. I think it's time David Turnbull moves on. I really do. As far as there's been sources over the last 6 months that he turned down a contract, improved contract. You look at the amount of players that we signed new deals in the summer, and Turnbull wasn't a part of Brendan's plan. So I think he'll move on, and I wish him the very best. The next one we're going to talk about is BOJAN Miovski, that plays for Aberdeen. Now, BOJAN Miovski, he's 24 years of age. He's a North Macedonian striker, 6'4". Already this season, he's done pretty well. This is his stats so far for Aberdeen. 70 appearances since he signed since 2022. 32 goals, 6 assists. This is his total stats for this season. 28 games in all competitions. That's the Europa Conference League. That's the league. That's the Scottish League Cup. 14 goals and 3 assists. And then 4 yellow cards as well. Looking at Miovski's pedigree, he scored against the big teams in Scotland. I would like to see Miovski come. I've said it so many times. If we're going to buy anyone domestically, it will be Miovski or Shankland. Miovski has value to him. At the moment on Transfer Market, he's valued at 2 million. But the Aberdeen board came out and said that he's worth 5 to 6 million. Now, the Scottish record fee is 4.4 million for Scott Brown, who was signed from Hibs back in 2007 to Celtic, and the rest is history. Should Celtic break the bank for a player that's playing domestic football against them? It's a hard one to say. He's proven that he scored in Europe already this season in the Conference League and scoring against decent teams in there as well, a former Europa League team as well. So if it was me, I'd sign him. I think we need that physicality up front. I think we still missing this in Giacomakis. Always not a bad player, but always not a second choice striker, folks. He's more of a third choice striker. I've already said in the channel as well, I would take Lauren Shankland. This is where a lot is just leave the video. Lauren Shankland is 28 years of age. He's 15 goals this season, and he is a prolific goal scorer for Hearts. Yes, some people say, he's a Rangers fan. don't want them near the club, all this malarkey. It could either go, these are the scenarios. It can either come in, if you get Miovski or Shankland, you could be a Scott McDonald, hit the ground running, be up there nearly top goal scorer with 20 odd goals in a full season. I know it's only half a season now, or it could be a case where it could be a Derek Royden and just hasn't worked out with Celtic. They're the best comparisons, I could say, or a Chifchi where it never worked out as well. I'd like to see either one of them strikers come in. We're talking about left back situation. This is a guy we've been linked with for the last 3 years. His name is Alfie Doughty. Now, Alfie Doughty is 24 years of age, plays for Luton Town in the English Premier League. I couldn't find out how long his contract is because they only signed him from Charlton Athletic to back in 2022. And he's a player. He's done pretty well. He's 18 appearances so far for Luton. A goal in there as well, 3 assists, and he's valued at 4 million. I wouldn't mind if we went in and got this guy. I think he'd be twice the player than Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor's contract is up at the end of this season. Now, if Brendan was serious about retention this guy, giving him a new deal, like majority of the squad got, 7 to 8 players got new deals, Taylor would have been on it. But the strange thing about Taylor is he's played every game this season. So I don't know what's the plans with Brendan Rodgers, the board, or Greg Taylor, but I think we do definitely need to strengthen. There's another player that could play in this position. He preferably plays right back, though. His name is Calvin Ramsey. Now, Calvin Ramsey is a 20-year-old Scottish right back. Now, he can also play in the left as well. He was signed to Liverpool a couple of years back from Aberdeen. He's been capped for Scotland in senior level as well. He's currently playing at Preston North End on loan. He's only made 3 appearances for them this season. I think we should go out and get this guy. I think we could get him on loan. I just think an 18-month loan would suit him, suit Celtic, it suit the Scottish national team, and it'll benefit Liverpool as well. And if down the line you have an option to buy him, why not? Anthony Ralston signed a new deal this season, but I still feel like, this is a young Scottish player coming through. Why not? So that's my input in regards to the defensive side. One more player we will talk about is a centre back. Look at, we have Miovski, we have Bielka, we have Welch, we have Carter Vickers. Now Carter Vickers is out until the international, not the international break, the winter break finishes. Bielka could be on his way back to Sweden. Miovski's at this finally getting into the team. Scales is playing out this world, and Welch is injured at the moment. So, should Celtic sign Scott McKenna? Scott McKenna is 27 years of age. His contract is up with Nottingham Forest at the end of this season. He's played 5 times this season for Nottingham Forest. And is it a player where you say, do we go in and get him? He's been capped for Scotland so many times as well. The only thing I don't like about Scott McKenna is very, very slow. And it kind of reminds me of Suter off Rangers. Very similarity, overrated, injury prone. I think I wouldn't go for Scott McKenna. I remember we were linked with Scott McKenna 3 or 4 years ago before he went to Forest, and Aberdeen were overrating him. They were saying, he's an 8 million player. Not a chance. Not a chance. Fair enough. He kept Forest in the Premier League. He's won promotion to the Premier League and stuff, but he's played over 120 times for Nottingham Forest. I won't be a fan of going for Scott McKenna. So let us know in the comments what you think of all the players that I've linked to the club. Would you take Miovski? Would you take Shankland? Would you take Doughty off Luton? Would you take Callum Ramsey? Let us know in the comments below. Speak to you all soon.